What, I have to go clap my hands or something?
That's fine. Go.
Okay, bear with me one second. Hello, everybody. This is the Licensing Review Board meeting of June 9th for the town of Southampton. Malin, do you want to do roll call?
Do you want to do the pledge first? Then we'll do roll call?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
for liberty and justice for all.
We will apply.
All right, roll call. All right, Anthony D'Italia is absent. Board member Anne-Marie Fulham,
Present.
board member Edmund B. Moore,
Here.
board member Mark Schiffer.
Here,
Okay, so we need to have a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of May 12th. We should have the most recent minutes in our email that Malin had just sent. I reviewed them. I can actually make a motion to approve if I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
One second. Okay. Next on the agenda is we have a hearing that's scheduled for Schoenwart and Jaws Construction. I believe that's you, Mark.
Yes,
I saw
so,
the letter to us.
actually, I can maybe share the screen and I can, 1 second. Let me just open with. If I should share can I share the screen?
Should be
Oh.
able, what is it? I mean,
Of
are you trying to
course.
do the letter
Yeah.
that we,
Go ahead. So I'll share the screen. Does everybody sees that report?
No.
No.
Hit the share button.
Share, yeah. You see it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, read it for the record that, I did investigate this complaint and I visited the site on, there are photos attached to this report, which will be part of the record. And there is definitely deficient construction. And a permit was issued to perform the work at that location at 183 Watermill Town Road. Here on my report, I say that the contract between the parties does not clarify properly the responsibilities of the party, nor the scope of the work is really properly defined. And there were, so the town did perform inspections pursuant to the contract, such as the framing inspection and the rough plumbing inspection, and it passed the inspection. However, apparently the contractor didn't sort of abandon the work. And did not, the work was done mostly during the pandemic. And I met also with the contractor who then, who had his own explanation as to why he left the job. And here I'm citing 3 reasons that he said that the homeowners kept changing their mind. The homeowners and then he indicated that his claim is that the homeowners negotiated their own subcontract with the plumber, the electrician, the fireplace company, and that he was owed in excess of $30,000. So the homeowner did refute. I met again the homeowner after that, who did refute completely those arguments, and that he was merely withholding the money as a retainage. So another issue that came up during the investigation was that the ownership of the contractor, the home improvement contractor, Jaws Contracting, was not exactly per the initial application of Jaws Construction. So we did review this matter, and
Yes,
we
please.
made a request to Jaws Construction to resubmit his application, and I think at the last meeting we did waive the fees to resubmit. To this date, Jaws has not fully resubmitted. He did resubmit the application with no attachment, and I believe that Maylene did send a letter to the contractor requesting for additional information. During the investigation, the contractor filed a mechanics lien on the property, indicating 2 other contractors that hadn't been paid. The homeowner then called the building department, asked for an inspection, and the inspector came to the premises and noted a number of items that were required before a certificate of compliance or a certificate of occupancy could be issued. The homeowner also hired a home inspector to prepare a report as to the condition of the house. So in this, the homeowner did provide copies of checks that he made out directly to the contractor in the amount of almost $350,000. And he also paid suppliers and trade contractors another $270,000. So at this time, there is, well, I'm just going to continue maybe a little bit here. At this time, there is an attempt to resolve the matter between the homeowner and the home improvement contractor. There is a proposal that they are still both reviewing. And in terms of my findings, I find that the contract between the homeowner and the home improvement contractor does not meet the requirements of the town code section 143-1 and general business law. That there is, at this time, there is a question of a possible violation under section 143-11 B2 of the town code in connection with the contractor's license application, that it didn't appear to be complete or truthful. Now, there are other possible town violation under section 143-11 B17 and 18, which are the failure to conduct home improvement in a skillful manner. Showers are leaking, the fireplace are unusable. There is, and then section 143-11 B9, where there is abandonment or willful failure to complete the work. So I looked up a little bit more in the code, and I saw that we could, if violations are found, that either the license could be suspended or the board could ask to post a bond to complete the work. But right now, given the fact that the 2 parties are talking and trying to resolve the matter in an amicable way or without resorting to the complaint, I would like to submit that maybe we postpone any decision and table any decision to the July meeting. Both parties agree to that adjournment.
Okay, so I think we just need to make a motion to say that this is actually scheduled for a hearing. So we just need to make a motion to reschedule this hearing till next month. Is that appropriate?
Yes.
So
To make a motion to, yes.
Unless the homeowners and the contractor make a resolution amongst themselves, and they have to send us a letter in writing stating such so that we can remove the complaint.
But this is
Yes.
on consent of both parties to adjourn
Yes.
this until July
Yeah.
9th. So just the record reflects that. And if you could just move to adjourn this then to July 9th meeting.
Yeah, and it will also give an opportunity for the contractor to complete his application, his home improvement contractor application.
He has a valid license right now, correct?
Well, no, he has a license. A license was issued under Jaws Construction, but the application, it appears that the ownership of the company was not as per described in the application.
Okay, so we're waiting for that documentation as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to make a motion to
Yeah,
adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn to the next meeting, that we table a decision on this matter.
Can you
To
please
the
give
next-
the, Mark, you need to provide the date so we don't have to go through another notice requirement. And
Okay, so I'm making a motion that we adjourn this and table any decision on this matter until our next meeting on July 9th. At
It's
which
July
time,
14th, July
Oh, it's-
14th.
oh, July 14th, which is a good day. Until Bastille Day, July 14th, and um, to allow the parties to reach a possible settlement, and also to allow the contractor to provide all of the required necessary paperwork to complete his home improvement contractor's license
that will be at 9 a.m.
at 9 a.m. on July 14th. I thought it was July 7th, but okay.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All,
So I'll submit, okay,
all in favor?
hi.
Okay, thanks.
So, and I'll submit this report to be part of the record.
Okay, thanks, Mark. All right, next on the agenda, there's pending complaints, Timothy Furry versus Elderco. That was assigned to Mark and Ed. Do we have any
Yeah.
updates on this? I
Yeah,
know,
so on this one, I prepared a similar little memo that I shared yesterday with Ed. One second, let me just open it.
I have a copy here as well.
I'm going to share the screen. So here, this is, I visited the site on the March 31st, and the homeowner did show me items that he deemed to be unfinished and deficient construction. In this case, the owner, it's like a young couple from New York who have their second home in Quogue, and they have two handicapped children. And they reached out to Elderco to make the house handicap accessible and also do an extension to the house. They had someone draw up plans for this expansion, and they obtained a permit for this expansion and the work. So there are some questions relating to the issuance of the permit, which are somewhat a collateral issue here, which is still being reviewed, that I'm still reviewing. But I did file a FOIL with the building department and had an opportunity to review the file at the building department. The amount of the work performed was like close to $190,000 in the vicinity, and when the permit fee was based on $5,800. There's also a question as to the preparation of the plans, and whether the plans were really substandard and did not meet many of the typical requirements for architectural plans. So the parties entered into a contract that really also was not very well, did not have that specificity required for, and there was no involvement of any professional during the work, even though it was major work also. So the pandemic hit, and the contractor did not return to finish the job. And even though the homeowner has requested multiple times for the contractors to come back to walk through the job with him, to look at the punch list, apparently this never happened, and that led the homeowner to file this complaint. The homeowner also did call the building department during the pandemic, and the building department did actually call the contractor to come finish the work. The contractor did come and finish the bulk of the work, and the building department came back and did sign off the work. So in this case, the building department did deemed the work to be completed, and the work was signed off and the permits were closed. But the homeowner is still not satisfied with the quality of the work, and has a number of items that he thinks were not done properly, and the way also the contractor handled the work in general and handled them was really not proper. So again, in this case, I met also with the contractor, and shortly after I met with the contractor did submit an offer to settle this matter by completing some of the work and requesting a payment less a discount. And this negotiation is still ongoing. After discussing it again with both parties, it was agreed to again postpone and table any decision on this matter until the next meeting, to give a chance to the parties to come to a settlement. It will also give us a chance to review the circumstances of the issuance and the sign off of that permit.
So I need you then to make a motion to postpone this or table this until next month.
Right. So yeah, I'd like to make a motion that in this case, we table any decision on this matter until next month, to allow the parties to reach a possible settlement, and also to allow maybe the building department to review the sign off for this project.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one is Amy May versus Century Carpentry Corp. Fast Quality Carpentry. That was actually assigned to me. I have spoken with Amy May, and I also reached out to Fast Quality Flavio's office. They are supposed to be sending to Maylin documentation and information from an attorney that Flavio hired. We haven't gotten that as of yet, so I would like to postpone this pending complaint as well until next month, so we have more time to review documents that we haven't actually received yet, which are forthcoming. So I'd like to make a motion to table this till next month. I need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. New complaints, there's a non-jurisdiction, John Briarden and Anthony, I don't know if we say this right, but Yaknanovich is unlicensed in the town of Southampton, claim moves forward to code enforcement. So there's nothing, Malin, anything more we need on that?
That's correct.
Okay. So next thing, applications, previous applications not approved, denied. But VYTAS, home improvement. There was a letter that was sent. There were judgments that were found. There were email link to the meeting. Okay, so that's actually that survey letter. Process and cover. Okay. This was not, these two were not approved. Correct, Malin? Yes. And NC and construction?
That would be correct. So you asked,
You
so
heard-
for 21,042 VYTAS, we had postponed giving him some more time and give him the ability to give us the proof of judgments of satisfaction. He's yet to produce that. He's unable to get it yet. So my suggestion would be is at this point, send out a letter stating that we're denying the application at this time, but that he can resubmit once he has that paperwork to take him off the agenda.
Just before you do that, we have at least two people that are in the waiting room or watching or here attending. Do you want to just find out if either of those two individuals are here to speak on any of these applications that we're going through?
The second one that's actually there is NCC Prime Construction. I think I see him in there.
Okay.
I saw Nico's.
Yep.
So we had requested, we wanted to know what the actual complaint was. That
Can we
was all
put him in?
emailed over to you, the Suffolk County complaint that was lodged against him and the payment plan.
Do we want to deal, the first one, 42? So we need to make a motion, we should finish the motion on this and then we'll jump to the waiting room?
That would be great, thank you.
All right, so when was this was sent on, this is like February, March.
That
Do we
would be
want to
correct.
give him another 30 days to do this, or do you want to just deny this? What do you guys feel on this one? This is the one that has a judgment of a large amount for Workers' Compensation Board. It was 2004.
You're talking about NCC Prime Construction?
No,
No, VYTAS, home improvement. It's under previous applications.
Oh,
not
the
under-
previous application.
so
okay.
it's been on the application, it's been on the agenda for
Yes,
4
yes, yes.
months.
And there's nobody here to speak on, is what you're saying, correct?
That would be correct. I spoke to him, his attorney was supposed to reach out to me. I didn't hear from the attorney. They were supposed to, once they have the proof of satisfaction, they were gonna send that to me. I'm still waiting on it. Again, my suggestion would be at this time is to deny the application with a letter stating that once they have proof of satisfaction, we could bring it back before the board. So it could be resubmitted. You
That's
wouldn't have to
fine.
do anything.
That's fine.
Unless we postpone we keep it on the board and table it for another 30 days.
No,
Well,
it's gonna be, it's been there for 4 months.
No, I
We haven't
understand,
heard
but is he gonna resubmit? He's gonna have to repay?
No, all he has to do is resubmit the application with the documents and
I
it'll
think we
be,
lost Anne Marie, so hold on for a second.
oh, yeah, hold on 2 seconds. All right, she's about to log back in. So let's just hold off till she hops back on. Gotta love modern technology.
Yeah. Is that,
Don't knock it.
Hopefully soon we'll be meeting in person.
you're right.
Yeah, this isn't too bad.
And then you'll be.
I
getting
kind
a-
of like it.
All
Then you
good
can
things
get-
must come to an end.
Then you'll be getting a flat tire coming to work.
Right, right, Charles. I like it. This cute. Don't mess it up.
I think she might be having difficulties getting on.
Seems that way.
Can she call in case she can't do a
Yeah.
visual?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, you wanna maybe call her?
Actually, you can just call her and put her on speakerphone.
Right.
All right. So you want 2 more minutes or else I can put you on speaker and you can just be, you want to be on speaker? All right. All right. So we've got Annie on speaker. You there, Annie?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
I'm
Oh.
here.
Okay.
Can
So
you hear me?
yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you. All right. So basically what I had said to Mark is that VYTS Home Improvements LLC has been on the agenda for the last 4 months. My suggestion would be is at this point to just send out a letter, a denial letter, and in the letter stating that once he got the proof of satisfaction, he could resubmit the application at no extra fee, and we could bring it before the board to then make a decision on the application.
Well, we're gonna make a motion to, deny the application and send a letter just like you stated.
That would be correct.
Yeah, well, we
Right, so
state
does someone wanna
that,
make a motion?
well, I would just clarify that he needs to resubmit
Hold, oh, you know what?
within
She
the-
can't. You can't hear Mark, right?
I can't.
You can't. Okay, hold on.
Well,
She's-
But it's-
Maybe
I
Maylin,
love these people.
just to clarify that, in order not to pay the additional fee, he needs to
on,
resubmit
Annie.
within the next 3 months.
Yeah.
All right, so
Mhm.
Mark basically Mark wants to amend that by saying that he's got 3 months to send in the satisfaction. I have to tell you honestly, Mark, we've actually never done that before. We've had applications that once they've paid the full amount for the application, if it's not been approved, that would go forward because essentially it's not been processed. It's just sitting in the queue.
No, but if it's denied, if we're gonna deny it, we'll give him 3 months to submit the missing documents, and then we will waive the fees, provided it's submitted within 3 months. Otherwise, you'll have to resubmit a brand new application.
Right. We don't do that as a rule. We don't ask them to resubmit a new application. This is gonna be a Christine question. I wouldn't, as a rule, we've never done it before. We've had applications that were in the drawer that were denied waiting satisfaction.
If you're not-
Sometimes
If you're not going through any other processes or, trying to get it through, that would incur extra costs associated with that, you shouldn't be doing that. So if we have the administrative fee that we needed up to that point, which covers any submission that he's going to give to you, just have it as you've been doing it with respect to it's a denial, keep it in that and let him resubmit whenever it is he makes his way to do that.
trying to get in
and you'll
there,
be
like-
at that time.
Okay, Annie. All right, I think that's the way to go. Christina, honestly, we've never done that before. I wouldn't want to change that. Can you agree to that, Mark?
I mean, I think that if he resubmits in 2 years, he should pay the fee.
All right, but that's the application is only good for 2 years. At that point, that's
Or
something
1 year, even 1 year. I mean, I think he should. All right.
Look, I mean, we can have this conversation another point if he's
Yes.
submitting in a year and he has to update certificates and that's going to require then a new administrative process in terms of verifying those documents further, then that's one thing. But if it's just within the normal course and you're not holding it for any extended period of time, I think we should make this an easy process, not belabor it.
Does that make it easier for you to hear, Annie? I'm trying to. Are you back?
You're in.
I don't see you
Okay,
on your phone.
He's
Is
in.
okay. There's Annie. All right,
I see her
let me let you
come
go.
Tell her to unmute.
Give her 2 seconds. I'll tell her to unmute.
There
He's
she did it.
unmuted.
All right.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Try to turn the volume up.
All right.
You
So
don't have to.
Hi, Mark. So
Hey,
do we
how
get a
are you?
motion out of that?
So we want to make a motion to deny the application and that
And await resubmission.
and await resubmission.
you're
Do I have
making
a
that. Are you making that motion, Mark?
Yes, he made it.
Okay, I made it.
So do we have a second?
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have someone in the waiting room.
Yes, we have 2 people.
All right. The
But-
first one, it should be Nico's. That's the one. He's
Yeah.
with NCC Prime Construction
Okay.
Inc.
He's coming in.
Okay, so he's. I just want to pull his paper out that I had.
He needs to
Video on. Nikos, put your video on. There you go.
and unmute.
And unmute. Unmute.
All right, let me just-
Yeah, Nikos, Charles, okay, perfect. Okay, Mr. Shara Lambos?
Yes.
Malin, do you have pulled up his the email that you sent us?
I don't have the email. I can look for it. It was, I did scan it in. Let me just move this over.
6-3. Because there was on page 13, there was just this, it wasn't notarized properly.
I have page 3.
Right, so we got that paperwork already. That was stuff that was asked afterward, and then you wanted the copy of the complaint. Let me
Okay.
just find NCC. I think I don't know if all the pages, there's 29 pages here. I don't know if,
Well, there was that, and then there was also this section that there was a payment agreement on the complaint.
right.
And I think we were inquiring as to the status of that. if that was all
The
resolved. Which I believe you
payments,
sent, and they agreed to settle that. And there was a letter settled, correct?
right,
Sorry,
so
you-
it's not, no, it's not satisfied. He's continuing to make payments till October 15th, 2023.
That's what it is. Okay. And are those, the inquiries into that is whether those are still being kept current?
From what we can see, it would appear so. If not, basically Suffolk County would take action. So at this time, it looks like it all stands, that everything is current.
Okay. Doesn't Nikos want to contribute anything to that since he's in the waiting room?
Yes, as far as the payments, this is a copy that I got from the Consumer Affairs last time I went over there. Everything is current. I paid up to date $27,375, and the next payment due is June 15th. So I'm current, good standing.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Nikos?
How much more remains on that?
It's well, the total amount it's 60,000, so it's about 32,000.
Okay.
Hang on a sec. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions?
No, that's fine.
No? Okay, so then we will make a decision on the license and we'll get back to Nikos. Okay?
This will be on for the next calendar, we'll have this on the next agenda?
No, it's on this one.
We can discuss it today, and then after discussion, we can make that decision.
Okay. So Nikos, you want to wait you can either watch from you'll be removed from the panelists, but you can wait in the waiting room, or you can just log in later and find out.
Am I gonna be able to contribute anything if I stay and I watch, the discussion you're gonna have?
If you want to add anything now, please do.
Okay. The only thing I'm gonna say is that when we went to the hearing at Suffolk County Consumer Affairs, the consumer basically he said that it was an honest underbid, which is the truth. I was, the first years in my career, and that project was relatively, complex. I shouldn't have bid on that project. It was some other factors as well. I underbid the job. The customer knew about it. We discussed that already. So basically, it's a few things. I don't know if you reviewed the initial complaint. He said that I didn't return to work, which is not true. I'm pretty sure if that was the case, I wouldn't have, my license would be suspended, or they would, since the complaint, they renew it 2 more times at Suffolk County Consumer Affairs. So that was not the case. The customer, he asked me he wanted to be, we were about 85, maybe 90% completed, and he wanted to be in charge of the job. He asked me to leave a couple guys over there, and that's what happened. And, we were in communication every day. I visited the job site from time to time. So, I never, abandoned the job. It was a mistake. I'm still paying for it. And, since then, my business is doing great. I had no other complaints. And I hope you guys give me the license in Southampton.
You have a
because-
valid, current Suffolk County contractor's license?
Yes.
Yeah,
It
that's what I
was
thought.
never suspended or revoked. And, I actually 3-4 months ago, I renewed it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So do you guys want to make a decision on his license based upon the information that was received?
We could.
It's under the new home improvement license?
It's
app?
under, no,
Yes.
it's under the pending ones.
Open.
Under previous applications.
Oh, that's where
At
you.
the very top of applications, it's the second one down, 106.
Yeah, no, I see that. I thought it was going to appear somewhere else on the calendar also.
No,
Okay.
so
I'll make a motion to approve the license.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Mark, Ed. Okay, so now we're on to the new home improvement license applications. There are 13 of them. I did some reviewing myself, and there are 3 that I wanted to bring to the attention. I'll start from the last first. 2100123, it's Tri-State Hardwood Floors. And this one was on page 4. I just have to pull a copy of what was written. He had some information, supplemental information that wasn't making sense. So Christine, it's on his application, question 13, where it says, I have had the following occurrence mentioned below. He said, checked off, I have never, but then in section D, it says, please list and clarify the nature of any crimes or violations of the law. And he wrote in there, currently charged with SHT to 143-2, attorney working with DA. Do you know what that means?
It's a penal law, 143. I forget what 143 is, but we would have to adjourn that to find out, unless you want to take a brief moment. I can try and look up what that charge is. In either event.
I think either way, he's going to have to give us more information.
Yeah, he's gonna have to square away his application because those contradict each other.
Okay, so I agree with that. I think that we need to send him a letter and get some clarification onto that. That is again, Malin, number 2100123, Tri-State Hardwood Floors.
You got it.
Okay, the next one I have is After Dark Landscape Lighting, Thomas Bevilacqua.
He's in the
And-
waiting room and, right, that
Okay, let me
is,
just pull up his,
In
it's
this case,
2100, 116.
yeah,
in this case, I had that the signature on both insurance was blacked out. I don't know why.
that's when Malin has to confirm that that's fine with you if you can't see it. That happens sometimes with the scanning.
Yeah,
Oh, is that right? Is
I've
that
got
right?
the name. It is a legitimate it's a legitimate company.
But why are they both blacked out?
There could be legal reasons for them doing it. We can have them reissue it to us. I don't,
No, I
it's,
think it's important to know who issues the policy.
well, we know that it was, the issuer is Hal. It's Hal McGill, who's the one who's issuing it, or Hal Ian, sorry, INAN. It's approved by. His name is there, his signature has been blocked out. I can call, I can verify, I can have them send us a copy, new copies with it.
Yeah, please.
All right,
Emery,
Which one is that again? Mark?
After dark landscape.
Okay, but he also has, did you see the judgments, Mark? For After Dark? There's judgments in here, I mean, they're older, but, and they have a name of Thomas Bevilacqua on here. Let me go to the second page. It
Signature
contains more to the,
Horticultural Services, Inc. with his name on it. It's March 7th, 2008, which they have an attorney. It was Marshall and Stein. The amount is $73,997.76. That still remains open.
and that's from 2008.
That's from 2008. The other ones that I found were 1990. Again, this was South Shore Marketing Corp. I'm not quite sure what that is. Again, another attorney has been named, David E. Wiseman. The next one found, it is DP Westside Landscaping, Inc. with his company as well for $839.54. This is June 2nd, 1992, Long Island Power Electric East, Inc. There's no representatives.
Did you say that he's on the waiting room, Malin?
He is.
So
Let's let him in.
maybe he can just
Right,
let him in and give us an explanation, because they are a long time ago.
right. Well, this one here that I just read off to you, before we invite him in, I'm just going to read them off to you and then we can invite him in. This one was
Okay.
returned and noted with Suffolk County that it was returned unsatisfied. So it looks like delinquent payment. And the last one is against him personally for $126,618 First Federal Savings Loan Associated of Rochester, and it's got an attorney's firm, and that one is open, and that's from 1992.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
you can
there's, yeah, so I think we should bring him in to,
Yes.
just since he's here, and let him explain and see if these are his,
Good morning, board
if he has
members.
any. Hi, Thomas.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you hear what we said about the judgments?
Yes, absolutely. And
Okay.
some of those judgments were mine in the past. One for $125,000. That's not even me. That's it's a different social security number. It's not even me at all. All those judgments have been satisfied. They're from, most of them are 30 years ago.
Yeah, they are.
30 years ago, and they were satisfied. Why the smaller ones? As you can see, I was part of a corporation that it was just a bad partnership and so forth, and we were held personally responsible for sales tax and corporate taxes. As you can see, that's all been paid in full. Those are all the large numbers. They've all
There's a
been
large
paid
one
in
from
full.
Bissett Nursery.
Bissett Nursery was satisfied, but Bissett, and there was a court, I don't know what you want to call it, deposition possibly with Marshall Stern as attorney. We were held not responsible for that, but Bissett Nursery has since no longer been in business. It's now gone to Site One, and they don't have, so the attorney never filed the paperwork necessary for that. These are issues that have all been cleared up. I actually called Suffolk County Clerk, or tried to get on the website a couple of weeks ago when I applied for my license. At that time, they were saying everything needs to be done online. I don't know how I'm going to solve a $125,000 dispute that isn't even in my name online. But you know,
Yeah.
I've had a Suffolk County home improvement license since well before 2000, hold it currently. There's never been any, it's all in good standings, never been any complaints. It's low voltage lighting is what I'm doing. And as I said, that stuff was 30 years ago. And we fell on some hard times in a bad partnership, but, you know, have rebuilt and have been doing so ever since, cleanly with clean state with sales tax as well as corporate taxes since starting that company after Dark Landscape Lighting in 2008.
Do we have a copy, Malin, of the Suffolk County license?
No, we don't ask for it, but we can.
Yeah,
we
I
can
just
definitely
didn't, I'm
ask
just
for it.
asking if we did. Do you have any documentation on the Bissett judgment at all that you could submit to us for our records?
I believe there's something. Yeah, I know it was definitely in a deposition matter and it was cleared up. So again, I don't know why Marshall Stern's office, I guess because the case was found not positive in their manner, that they just didn't file it. I don't know. But I'm sure I have some paperwork that I could submit to show that.
Okay. There was another question, I think, my connection got bad there for a second. I think Mark brought something up about something being blacked out. Malin, should we be asking a question on that?
He can resubmit the insurances without the authorized representative blocking out his name.
Oh, is that something my insurance company forwarded? I'm unfamiliar with that. Okay.
Not forwarded, it was submitted with the application. So it's copies that you gave me. They are blacked out. It's probably what they blacked out for you. So they, basically the board members are asking you to resubmit both the liability, the accord, as well as the workers' comp without the signature blocked out.
Sure, not a problem whatsoever.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Thomas? Mark, Ed? I can't see everybody, so,
You're saying no.
okay. Okay, so I guess if you can resubmit those documents and any documentation you have, if you can bring that to Malin would be great.
Okay, so I'm just so we're on the same page. I'm resubmitting the documents for the Marshall A. Stern Bissett and the insurance certificates that are blacked out, correct?
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. I greatly
All right,
appreciate it.
thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Emery, can we go back to 2100123 Tri-State Hardware?
Yeah,
Because I'm just thinking about it. When you said DA, it led me to say that it was a penal law, but I think what happens, and it would be consistent with his response in the first instance, I think he's saying Southampton Town 143. So he might have been
Oh.
charged with one of the not having a contractor's license or something, which would be consistent with what he was saying. So we can certainly clarify that up, but I don't think it should hold him up. Emery, we can't hear you.
Okay,
Emery, we can't hear you. Charles, she's muted.
Anne-Marie, can you hear us?
Do you have volume on your, you using a, oh boy.
yeah, it's here.
Oh, there you go.
There,
There we go.
there
we
it
go.
goes. Someone, yeah,
So I think, like, I don't think this should hold up the process. Certainly, he can clarify that, but I would move to approve it subject to him providing that clarification that in fact, it's just it's a town code violation and he's waiting for the assistant town attorney. It's not a DA matter or a penal law issue.
Okay.
okay, so your suggestion is that we could approve this
Subject
pending
to
addition.
him clearing up what that is. I mean, it's up to the board, but it sounds like he was recounting that he got charged from the town's perspective by code enforcement for not having a license, which is maybe why he's
Gotcha.
here.
Okay, okay. So do we want to, well, okay, we'll jump back to that one.
I have one
'Cause
more.
I want to approve these all at once. or
I have
not.
one more on Mo Classic Restoration.
Okay,
It appears that it's the driver's license is his son's driver's license.
I saw that, but he also has a passport there, his passport. So it's almost as just like additional information.
But why did he put his son's driver's license?
I don't know, it's up, Malin. Maybe he's a driver. He's thinking maybe he's a driver for one of the vehicles. Can you,
Maybe he doesn't have, I mean, he's got workers' comp. I'm gonna assume that his son works for him. He probably drives for him. He gave me a passport. I'm gonna go with the fact that he probably doesn't have a driver's license. He didn't have, on the application, he can submit either a driver's license or a passport. So I'm assuming that he has workers' comp. It means that this is an employee. It is his son. They both live at the same address. He gave me his passport. It says he is a US citizen.
The
So,
son is one of the owners?
no.
no,
No.
but he
I
put
don't know
his,
why the son's driver's license should be there.
well, either way, I ran a background check on both of them. They were clean. There's check marks beside both of their names when I ran them. So,
Yeah, I don't think that's a
Right.
reason for us to
Okay, no,
deny
that's fine, that's
his
fine.
application. Okay, there's one other that we need to address, I believe, is 2100113. It's Fifth and Dune Partners. Did all of you get to review that application?
Yeah,
Mark?
briefly,
And
I
the
mean,
email.
yeah, there were a lot of notes from Maylene on there.
Yeah, there was,
Should
there
we
is,
ask them to come in? I think the best would be to ask them to come in.
I don't, well, my feeling, I don't know that it's necessary to ask him to come in, but what I,
Anne Marie, we can't hear you. Anne Marie, we can't hear you. All right, she's checked out. We gotta wait for her to come back. Oh, there you are.
Charles has me muted.
There you go. We hear
You can
you.
hear me?
Yes,
It's
we can hear
strange.
you.
If something happens with my phone, it kicks me off and I have to go out and go back in. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
So on Fifth and Dune, it pertains to the workers' comp, and either when you submit the application, you either have the insurance or you submit the CE 200, which says that you're not required to have insurance, along with a letter stating that if you're going to hire employees, that, you know, a certified letter that you will get the insurance. On this one, it is issued to the town of Southampton. It doesn't have the town of Southampton's address listed on it, but I think there's a conversation to be had and for Christine to make some comments on as well, where if he doesn't have the insurance, what is the address necessary, even though it's on the application requesting that the address be listed on the instructions for the application? Is that certificate, as long as us having the letter as well, what bearing does that have on us as the town?
Well, listen, I'm going
I
to
mean, so
comment.
is it necessary that it's actually there, and is this something we should revise?
Listen, we can have a conversation on it. This is something that came up to the town attorney's office when it occurred, and obviously I appreciate Malin's attention to detail. Having said that, though, it's not one of the application requirements. The board is able to look, though, under your jurisdiction. You can look and examine an application, and only if you feel that something is deemed necessary for an investigative purpose, would you then go into looking into it? I would submit that based on the fact that this is really just a matter of missing an address, and the fact that it is an exemption, the fact that they also put in a letter saying that they are fully aware of their obligations under workers' compensation laws and rules, and should they have employees that make them no longer exempt, they're aware of that and will make the appropriate applications. For purposes of coverage, you would want the address. I just don't see this as an issue that the board should necessarily be looking to investigate in any way, because you would be doing so based on a premise. I surmise that you would be thinking that there's fraud going on. Other than that, I don't, it's up to the board, but I don't believe this is something that should hold up an application. And we already discussed this from this office.
And there is a third address also, 16 Good Friend Drive in East Hampton.
They have a mailing address, a physical address, and then that second
And then the
address
third,
that's on,
and then there's a third address
yeah, on the letterhead.
on the letterhead, yeah.
But on the
Yeah.
application is the main,
So I would cite, if I could throw my 2 cents in here, we have a physical address of where the business is located. You can always have more than one office. They have a PO box.
Satellite
That's
offices.
where, right. We have an address of where all the mail is going to, which is going to be, it's going to be a PO box. What's in question really here that comes down to it is that in the last 30 years that we've been doing CE 200s, the address is on the application. It is a requirement. It is a requirement when you submit a building permit with us, whether you have workers' comp or not. It is something that we ask for and the building department requires. And that the only thing at this point now is that it could go pending it being corrected.
All right, I'm
building
going to
department-
suggest something. It's a building department requirement, which means that it's a policy discussion. It is not a requirement under the code pursuant to the application. And if as such as a policy, this board can determine whether or not they think is a policy for a CE 200 that an absence of an address should hold up an application. So you can have that discussion and you can think about that, but that is not a requirement of the application, which is under your jurisdiction. It is a policy of the building department.
okay.
But-
So,
There's a
When-
gentleman
when-
that's here. I don't know what he's here for, but perhaps.
my feeling, this is my gut feeling, is that if this were a certificate of insurance that stated that they had workers' compensation insurance, they held the policy, for legality purposes, it would be important for me to see that address on that certificate. But since this is an exemption and there's also a letter attached that's addressed to us as the town of Southampton, I feel we're here to facilitate and help people run their
Right.
businesses and make money, make a living. So I feel, my gut feeling is that we should approve the license, but I think post this meeting, we should have a conversation about that because it's, I think it's great that Malin has such an attention to detail and she brought this up, this situation happened, that it's something that we should further discuss for that information
But
to be
my,
procedure.
okay. My question is that I don't understand the issue for the applicant to just add the address.
Because it's already a signed document and they don't want to alter a document after a signature and has been notarized on it. That wouldn't be okay to do. Because otherwise we could have just written it in ourselves up here in the town attorney's office. We're not questioning that nobody knows the address for the town of Southampton. And we could obviously just have added it ourselves, but so that's not the issue.
Mhm.
There's a gentleman here, Mr. Gibbons, like, do you represent somebody or are you? a part of-
Yes, good morning. Yes, I'm the attorney for Fifth and Dune Partners, the applicant seeking a license. I've listened to the board's discussion. It's fairly simple, right? Someone's either got to get workers' compensation insurance or the CE 200, which my client has produced. As the board has discussed, an applicant can have more than one license, and I've been practicing insurance coverage law for 25 years. Never, ever has anyone disclaimed coverage over a change of address. The bottom line is that Fifth and Dune Partners LLC was granted an exemption from having workers' compensation insurance because they have no employee. There's only one member, Michael Tagliavia. And the letter we submitted, signed by Mr. Tagliavia and notarized, said that if the entity hires employees, they will get workers' comp insurance. But arguing over an address, we've met the standard that we're supposed to. We've provided the CE 200. The fact that when we started the application, Mr. Tagliavia used his personal address and then was able to get the East Hampton office space, I can't imagine affects the board's decision. This isn't, I've listened to the previous application where someone's name was crossed out on an insurance certificate. Okay, I could see the board having concerns about that. But
Can I just interject for just a moment? I'm sorry.
Documentation, the CE 200. So I'd ask the board to grant my client the license, please.
Christine,
Yeah.
I do want to point out that both Dennis O'Rourke, who is the building inspector, would like to point out that the issue really here is address. And because we have multiple buildings, they wanted addressed to this address, which is why we have it submitted on the application and that it's requested in red at the bottom of our application. We have Jackson Avenue, we have the Ponquag address, and we have this office. These are not, we have multiple offices, which is why when they request the CE 200 for the town of Southampton, they're requesting that the address be placed on it.
But
And it is-
the problem that we're having is, as my understanding is that the CE 200 is missing the town of Southampton address.
That's correct. And
But it's
when
an
you type
exemption
in- just
form.
hold on 2 seconds. When
Right,
you
but
type in
this
town of
is getting
Southampton,
to-
Let's say one at a time, please.
Malin, I discussed this with Dennis, okay?
all right,
This is a building department requirement, which I understand.
okay,
Having said that, because it is such a de minimis thing that we're talking about on an exemption form, I would submit that it is not something that should hold up a license application. It
right, we
is-
don't want to hold it up. We just want it corrected. It would be pending. Just make the correction for us.
So you would approve it pending, subject to the submission? of a-
Absolutely, we wouldn't deny it. There's no reason to deny the application.
I don't think you need to do that. Listen, the board is gonna have to make that decision. I don't think it is necessary. We spoke to Dennis, the chief building inspector. We discussed it here in the town attorney's office. It is a policy. It is not a requirement of the application. So it's up to the board, but I would submit to you that it really is beyond the scope of what you should be looking at and determining whether or not an application is complete or not. And it doesn't require any investigative analysis unless you are alleging something. So
one
I would just be
question-
guided.
So the only question I have moving forward is on because now it comes to the application itself. Do we remove that? Because now I need land management to correct that, because if we're not
Remove
going to
what?
ask for it,
Remove what? That's,
the requirement on the application.
that is
No.
an application requirement from the building department. That is nothing to do with the jurisdiction of this board.
Okay,
So if that's something that you want to take up with land management, with Janice as the head of that department, you can certainly do that and discuss whether or not that's something you want to require going forward, or you want to make a specific difference between the CE 200 and the other insurance forms and say that it's not going to be deemed to be negate the document if it doesn't have that address. You can also add that. You can do whatever you want, but that's a policy from the Land Development Administration. It is not a requirement in the code.
all right.
Right. I think that, given that there's the letter attached to it as well, stating that if he's going to hire employees, that he'll get insurance, and it's addressed to us at Town of Southampton, 116 Hampton Road, that should be suffice. But I do think, Malin, we could have a conversation after this meeting about that.
But if I
Not
may-
this, but about the building department's policy.
And I'm happy to meet with Janice and you and Dennis to sit down and try and figure that out.
Okay,
Because
but Mark,
because,
you trying to,
yeah, if I may, I think that I understand Christine's point, and I also understand Mayleen's point,
yeah,
that the policy has to be clear and the requirement has to be clear, and a requirement that has to apply to everyone. And I think that the policy to require the address of the town of Southampton for notice purposes is a good practice and is a good requirement. You know, in this case, there is, and I would be in favor maybe of approving this application because of the fact that it is an exemption form, and that based on the fact that it is an exemption form, we may be able to approve this application, making an exception for this. But I think the requirement to have the address of the town of Southampton on the insurance certificate, I think, should remain.
Of course, no one's debating the requirement on the insurance certificate. We're having this debate by virtue of the fact that it is an exemption document. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation.
yeah.
Because I don't think it would have probably gotten through this office had it been something different. Okay, so that is the distinction that we're talking about here.
That's fair.
Okay, does anybody else have any other applications they have any issues with? Or is, we can go forward and try to make a motion with the, I can make the motion. Yes, Christine?
Yeah,
On
you can
these?
make the motion. I just want
Okay.
to draw attention that this is not the first time this has happened. So we have done this in the past where we have accepted it without the address. And that was out of this office.
Okay. So I would like to put forward a motion that we approve, I think it's, we actually have to go back and discuss. We're actually not going to, 116 after dark, sorry. He was going to get us that documentation on
Well, I think we can
his,
approve it.
Bissett Nursery and
I think.
the whited out or blacked out information. So do we want to approve that pending that information, or we want to put this
Yes.
on the table for next month?
I will approve it pending submission of the documents to Maylene.
Ed, how do you feel about
Yes,
it?
I'll support moving to approve it pending.
Okay. And then the other one was the tri-state hardwood. Okay, so I think what we're doing is
Just try to just
we
did
will-
all the
I'm going to
same
put
thing.
forward a motion to approve 11 of the 13. And then the 2 of them will be also a motion to approve pending the documentation, correct?
Which
Correct.
two?
The 2 pending the documentation would be 210016 After Dark Landscaping. He's to provide the updated forms without the blacked out signatures and information on the judgments with Bissett. And 2100123 Tri-State Hardwood Floors. It would be the approved pending clarification on question 13 on the application, where he made the note about the Southampton Town Code Section 143-2. If there's nothing that seeks further investigation on that, then we can approve that. But if something comes back and we needs our attention, Malin, you will forward it to us when you get it, and then we can, then it'll just be what it is. So those 2 are pending approval for those documents required. And then I will make a motion to approve the 12, including the 113 of Fifth and Dune Partners. So I know I just rambled there, but if you guys understand that and want to second my motion,
You're approving 11, not 12.
I'm approving, I guess you could say wholeheartedly 11, and then the 2 additional pending the documentation. So it's
Right.
technically 13, but 2 pending.
Right.
So I need a second.
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor?
Hi.
I didn't hear Ed.
Aye.
All right, aye. Okay, so next then is the, there's 52 home improvement license renewal applications. Malin has highlighted 1746.
Emery, we lost you again. We lost you.
Am I back?
Yes.
Yes.
So strange, sorry. Okay, so there's 52 new home improvement license renewal applications. Malin highlighted 1746, and 3792. She's just bringing that to our attention. That one was Rashad, the 1746. His application was actually previously suspended, but he submitted everything and he disclosed that in the new application. His suspension is over with. So I don't see that being an issue. And Good Guy, she's just stating that it had expired back in 2014 and they're submitting a new because they'll be doing more business in the town of Southampton. So do we have a motion to approve 52 of the renewal applications?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
Ed, all in favor?
Hi.
Okay. There are 3 new plumbing registration applications. Do I have a motion? I can't hear. Am I out again?
No, you're in.
Did anyone make a motion?
For the plumbing application? I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Sorry, I'm bouncing around with this phone. And then we have 9 plumbing registration renewal applications. I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the plumbing applications.
All right, second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Ed, Mark, okay. All right, there's no executive session. I just want to make sure there's nothing else that we need to go over.
There's,
I don't think so. I didn't miss anything, Malin, did I?
Nope, looks like you covered everything.
Okay.
I just wanted to maybe, I'm not sure whether I had made this request before to Christine, maybe to look again at our policy to not review complaints that deal with contractors that are not licensed. You know, to me, it strikes me as a, you know, and I spoke briefly to the head of the code enforcement. And actually, he was not aware that we were not reviewing those complaints.
He was not aware what?
That we will not review, that we would just hand over the complaints to him or write, you know, refer the complaints to him without us reviewing it. You know, I think that the board
Mark, I
should
actually
review
have to
those.
interject. I don't think in the years past, I mean, I think I've been on this board almost 10 years now. It depends, I think it's more on a case by case situation. Sometimes, you know, for instance, there's an application that I have now that the name of the business that's on the application isn't licensed, but we review further and see that, again, Malin has that in her records that his name is on another license. So we are seeing this, you know, hearing or investigating this case, but each case there's something different. So we don't automatically just send it to code enforcement if they're unlicensed.
But, well, for example, there was a complaint that came this month and we said, well, the person was not licensed, so we referred it. I think that it's worth to maybe Christine to take a look at it.
Mark, I have looked at it. When you're getting a code violation for, I mean, and I think this should really be in a closed session for advice of counsel.
Okay,
But
fine.
I'm just going to generally state that when you're getting a code violation for not having a license, that is a code violation, not having a license. As to whether or not they should have a license or whether or not a license pending should be suspended and or revoked is what this board looks at, not town code violations.
Right, but if what I'm saying is that if there is a complaint, a complaint that comes in
yes,
against the contractor, and it turns out that that contractor, unbeknownst to the owner, unbeknownst to the complainant, that person was not licensed by
correct,
the town.
right?
I think that the fact that the person is not licensed should be one of the violations, but we as a board of the licensing review board should review the complaint.
But don't we not have?
Part of the process, as I understand it, is that we refer to code enforcement. Part of the disposition of that defendant now, who is now in code enforcement and now before the justice court, is that they have to go get a license. So they submit themselves then to the jurisdiction of this board. The fact that they operated without a license then becomes something you factor in when you're deliberating on either the license, giving it to them themselves. And I've sat in on this board, even in the brief time I've been here, where you've actually given a license for the purpose of getting jurisdiction and then suspending it pending a hearing because of the complaint. Or you've given the license but put it over. So you get the jurisdiction one way or the other. It just has to come through the channel of town code violation in terms of not having a contractor's license and operating anyway. And then whether or not in the instance, should you have a license and or should it be revoked or suspended? That's your charge as the license review board.
Mhm. I
But
mean, I think,
We can discuss more
yes,
together.
I think we should discuss more. Yeah.
Ed?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I mean, if we get a complaint against an unlicensed contractor, we really don't, there's really not anything we could do to this contractor without them not having a license. I mean, we can't legislate them or adjudicate it really in any way if they don't have a license. What can we do to an unlicensed contractor who's performed bad work without a license?
You send it to the code enforcement. They
Yeah.
issue a violation.
But that's what we do.
Right.
But this is what we've been doing. So I don't understand why we're having this conversation. Because that's
Well, no,
what we've been
because
doing.
I think that there's I think the investigation of the complaint should be done no matter what. I mean, we can discuss it further. I think that Suffolk County certainly does it. Other jurisdictions certainly does it. We are among the.
But
It's
I
not
don't
a
see that we have
policy.
the legal right to do it because I mean, if we don't have a right to investigate an unlicensed, I don't know how we have the legal right to start calling up a guy and asking questions against his company if he doesn't have a license. How do we get jurisdiction against a guy who doesn't have a license?
Well,
That's
that's
what
for that's for Christine to look into it.
Right. That's my
Okay,
my
okay,
concern
no, I
with what we're
understand.
discussing.
Okay, I
here.
understand. No, you're right. All right.
That's it. I
Yeah,
don't know anything.
we
Can't hear you.
cannot hear you.
Can't see you. Say something.
No,
No.
still can't hear you.
It's a volume thing. Try to turn your volume up.
Are you okay if one of the gentlemen moves to adjourn? Okay, so
All right, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion to adjourn.
Okay.
all in favor?
Hi.
All right, and Anne Marie, that was an aye. Waving your hand, yes. Okay, so that's
Yes.
3 in favor.